Thank you for that introduction. As the moderator said, I'm an attorney and I've been in private practice for going on 12 years now. And I would say that my career path has not necessarily been traditional, but it has been very rewarding. Because I had played collegiate and professional basketball, I wanted to have a career where I could combine my sports background and my legal background. So after my first year at the University of Iowa College of Law, I started a sports agency called Summit Management Group, where I served as the president and CEO. And at that time, I represented several men's and women's basketball players who had played in the NBA and WNBA and various other leagues, both domestically and abroad. I also was a summer associate at a law firm called Barnes & Thornburg. Barnes & Thornburg was a large corporate law firm that had over 400 attorneys throughout 7 offices across the country. And at that time, they were looking to expand into the sports and entertainment arena. And I presented a business plan and proposal to show them how they could effectively do that and how I could help them do that. And they were on board. And one of the requirements of that is that I needed to spend 1 year in Los Angeles, California. So I spent my 3rd year of law school at Pepperdine. I lived in Los Angeles, commuted to Malibu, California at Pepperdine. And while I was there, I picked up a certification in negotiation, mediation, and arbitration. And I really networked to solidify my contacts in the entertainment industry so that I could do what I said I would do, and that's develop the sports and entertainment practice group at Barnes & Thornburg. So upon graduation, I did that. And I served as the chair of the sports and entertainment division firm-wide for a number of years. And then in April of 2008, one of the partners from that firm and we branched out. We started our own firm, and I've been practicing with my partner for the last 6.5 years. And I say all that because it's important I recognize that not everyone is going to have an opportunity to chair a practice group out of law school. That's almost unheard of. But what helped me to be prepared to be in a position to take advantage of that opportunity was the foundation that was laid at Fort Wayne Community Schools. I attended Whitney Young Elementary School for kindergarten. I went to Weiser Park for 1st through 5th grade. I attended Black Hawk Middle School, and I attended Snyder High School. And what I appreciated about FWCS is, although I was a nationally recognized athlete, they realized I was a student athlete, and the student was first. So I was often challenged to make sure that I took all of the classes that were going to help prepare me to be successful in college and beyond. And so I took AP coursework. The teachers there were available to me. If I needed to come in and get some assistance before or after school, they made themselves available to me. And I felt like I had a well-rounded education through FWCS, and they emphasized the student part in being successful in the classroom as much, if not more, than being successful on the court. So when I got to the University of Iowa, I felt like I was prepared. And because I was prepared because of the successful foundation laid at FWCS, I was able to excel in the classroom and on the court. And I was able to graduate with honors and earn an academic scholarship to law school. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but most people who go to law school come out of law school with a lot of debt, over $100,000 sometimes. But because I had a basketball scholarship for undergrad and an academic scholarship for law school, I was able to come out basically debt-free. And I owe a lot of that to all of the teachers and the support group that I had at FWCS.
Good afternoon. It's good to be with you. I am here because I believe in public education generally and the Fort Wayne Community Schools specifically. I actually started at a school that later became a Fort Wayne Community School, later became Pleasant Center School. I attended it when it was Pleasant Township School, south of Fort Wayne International Airport, then through Kikianga Junior High School before all the reorganization into middle schools, and then to Elmhurst High School and in Wayne's first graduating class in 1972. So I am truly a dinosaur. what happened to me in the Fort Wayne Community Schools was really several-fold on both sides of the fence, so to speak. Both of my parents were Fort Wayne Community School teachers and an administrator as well. So I happen to know that there were a lot of good people who worked in the Fort Wayne Community Schools, and I happen to know that now. I've spent a little bit of time before I came in here, an hour or so, making the rounds of the tables. It's so exciting to see how terrific the Fort Wayne Community School staff, teachers, principals are, and how dedicated they are to your children as they come through the Fort Wayne Community Schools. And I'm here to tell you that there was one Fort Wayne Community School teacher who made an extraordinary difference in my life, and that was a lady named Jackie Felber, who was my Spanish teacher of all things at Elmhurst High School. And I was a basketball player back then. You'd never believe it now, and I was never as good as Tiffany was. But I thought that that was really going to be perhaps a ticket to college, and of course I would certainly go to Indiana University. But she pulled me aside one day and said, you know, there's this program to spend a summer in Spain, and you have pretty good grades. I was a B+ student in Spanish. And she said, you know, I think you really ought to apply. So she helped me put my application together, as did my parents. And lo and behold, I was selected to spend a summer in Spain with a Spanish family, really soaking up the Spanish culture and language. And she knew, however, that as school teachers, there was not a lot of extra money floating around the household. In fact, my mom had not yet become a teacher. She had been a stay-at-home mom. So Mrs. Felber ran a candy sale at Elmhurst High School to allow me to go. And when I went to the language camp, that was a week-long camp before you left to make sure that you really had been immersed in Spanish before you embarrassed yourself in Spain, I found out that all those kids were just expecting to go to Ivy League schools, because this was just a summer camp for them from their parents. But as I looked around, I thought to myself, you know, I could do that. If these folks could do that, I could do that. So I came back from that year in Spain, and it was time to start thinking about applying to colleges. And I told my dad, you know, I think I can probably get into IU, so I'm going to apply to Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. And so that's what I did. And as I was doing it, he said to me, if you're admitted, we'll find a way for you to go. And I received scholarship help to get there. My parents also helped me through. And it really was one person, one Fort Wayne Community School teacher, who made that difference in my life. And they are still here. Those teachers are still here. So one of the things I would urge you to do as parents is to listen carefully to what your teachers are teaching your children and the inspiration that they're giving your children, and respect what the teachers have to say and the administrators have to say about your child. They have your children's best interests in mind. And I would urge you to help your children have that same respect for the folks who are here in the community school system. But that's the difference that the Fort Wayne Community Schools made in my life, and it can make in yours.
Well, thank you for both sharing how FWCS made an impact in your future careers. I think that's very obvious to see. Now I'll ask Tiffany if there was someone in particular who made a difference in your career at FWCS, as Judge Mathias told us.
For me, that teacher was Barb Kampschmidt. She was an AP biology teacher at Snyder High School. She was someone who just really went above and beyond. And sometimes people don't realize the type of pressure that young people are under in school, just from all the things. Things are so different now than they were, 20, 30 years ago. But there were a lot of things that I was able to talk to her beyond dissecting the fetal pig in biology class. We were able to talk about a lot of life things. And she always took the extra time, invested in me, and knew that, appreciated the fact that I was still a kid. And while I pretty much lived in a fishbowl because of all the pressures from basketball and all the other things that were going on, the media circus that oftentimes occurred, she was someone who listened and realized, you know what, this is a safe haven. You can come in here before or after school. We can talk about biology, or we can talk about life. So Barb Kamschmidt was that person for me.
Thank you. Now, do either of you still communicate with some of your former classmates? You can each answer this one.
Well, I certainly do. The most important folks in my school life, so to speak, were those folks that I went to Pleasant Township Elementary School with, and we still get together from time to time. And those are the folks that I stay in touch with. It was the class size there was about 25 kids. And so we knew each other very well, and there was only one class at each grade level. So we spent 6 solid years with each other and got to know each other quite well. So the answer is yes.
I do. I stay in touch with a number of my classmates, particularly the ones who, there's a handful of classmates that I had that I went to school with for 12 years, essentially, throughout from elementary to middle school to high school. And I stay in close contact with those individuals. And we just had our 20-year reunion at Snyder High School. I can't believe it's been 20 years, but it has. And so I had an opportunity to catch up with a lot of the other classmates that I hadn't seen in a while. So that was nice.
Let me also mention that I stay in touch with Charles Kamak, who is one of your Fort Wayne Community Schools administrators in central administration, and he and I played basketball together at Elmhurst and Wayne.
And finally, any favorite memories from your time here at FWCS?
Well, you sort of heard about my memories. I really had a lot of great memories at Elmhurst. I was a starter on the first sectional basketball championship team at Elmhurst, and that was a special time. I can only imagine what it was like for Tiffany as she was being recruited nationally as a high school student. It was just, those times were a lot of fun. And if there's one thing I would say to parents and to students, it's to try things out like that, to be curious and to stretch yourself, and to maybe, we saw the theatrical performance just a few minutes ago. You don't have to be on stage in a theatrical production. There's lots that goes on behind stage, making the sets and the costumes and things like that. You can still have a great experience doing a lot of things in high school. Just try them. You don't have to like them. You can stop at any point in time, but stretch yourself and allow your children to stretch themselves in high school.
I've got a lot of wonderful memories during my time in FWCS, but I think my favorite memory is when my volleyball team, my sophomore year of high school at Snyder, we won the state championship in volleyball. And that was a very awesome experience because our team had to beat the #1 team in the nation, Muncie Burris, to be able to win state that year, and no one thought that was possible. Our team was very close. We had such wonderful relationships. We were close friends, and it was just something that we believed that we could do. We were kind of against all odds. We were able to do that, and that was just a wonderful experience because, no matter no matter how much success you might have individually, there are other people who have played a role in your success. And the team success that we had as a volleyball team, being able to win state was phenomenal, and that's something that stands out for me.
And any final words of wisdom to parents or students themselves here at FWCS?
I think what Judge Mathias said about listening to your children and listening to the teachers who spend so much of the day with your children. And, for me, I'm a mother now, and, for my son, I want to make sure that he's in an environment where he has an opportunity to be successful. And I just believe that, the teachers who are around him and the teachers who are around your children for so many hours in the day, they have a great perspective to offer. And so listen to them, listen to your child every day, ask questions. Participate in the process. Go to the parent-teacher conferences. A lot of times, as parents, you want to complain about something that you're not happy with, but then when it's time for you to have an opportunity to be face-to-face with the teacher, the parents are nowhere to be around. So for you who have taken the time to be here, I know none of you fall into that category, because obviously you've taken an interest to show up here today, and I would encourage you to continue to do that and be involved in your child's educational experience.
Some of the things that I mentioned to you before certainly are parts of my advice to you. I really think that it's important to recognize that high school is where kids start to grow apart in a way. So honor that with regard to your child, but give them the structure that they need to come home to every day, that they need to feel safe in every day. I like Tiffany, urge you to listen to carefully and to be respectful of teachers and administrators. Having known many teachers, being married to one, having two sons who are high school teachers in the Hamilton Southeastern District in just outside of Indianapolis. These teachers are working 16-hour days to teach your children and to lead your children. They're spending all of their summers, which is supposedly their vacation, preparing for their next year of teaching your children and leading your children. So give them a little bit of respect in terms of understanding that they really are thinking about what's best for your child. If you are directing your children to, this is the time when they have to be proactive. They have to start taking care of themselves. They have to start thinking about their own future, and part of that is working hard. Part of high school is having a good time, but a lot of high school is about learning to work hard, just as you have to do in your own personal lives. So help them to obtain and to earn the work ethic that has let you succeed in your lives. And then finally, even though they work hard, be sure they have fun too. And that's not, those two are not inconsistent. You know that some of the best days at work are when you have fun. Find them, help them find ways to have fun as they work hard, but also just to plain flat out have fun in high school. That's part of what high school is all about. Thanks for the opportunity of speaking with you today.
Let's give a huge round of applause for our alumni panel.